In this video, I'm going to show how to do a jellyfish bracelet. So it's a little cardboard piece like this. Bracelet actually pops out the bottom. This is kind of a twisted rope that you make with 7 strings. So here is how to make a jellyfish bracelet. I'm going to show how to make this little cardboard piece that you need for the jellyfish bracelet. So you'll need your box, a circle stencil, one of the larger circle stencils that goes up to 2 inches, plus a pencil, a pair of scissors, and then see the teacher for an awl, the pokey tool to get your hole cut in the middle. So I'm going to start by cutting out a circle, and so this cardboard, I'm gonna just put the gray side up, not the the decoration on the back. And then the size of the circle, you don't need this big 2-inch. I'm gonna go down below that to this 1.812, 1 13/16 inch, this bottom left-hand corner on this style circle stencil. Don't put it in the middle. I want you to get as close to the last person. You don't want the bends in the glue and everything, but try to squeeze them in right next to each other so we get the most out of our box. You can use any kind of packaging from granola bars, any grocery store type of thing. So I'm going to trace out the circle, and I'm also going to add little lines where you see the top, bottom, left, and right, these little dashes that are on here. I'm going to mark out all 4 of those as well. So my circle looks like this now, and I'm going to cut it. First I just cut it loosely away from the packaging. Let me get rid of this. So I'm just gonna go in and not really cut on my lines yet. I don't like to do that detail cut with all this extra cardboard. Like this, and then I will go in and cut on my lines. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it does need to be circular. And I'm also going to cut in the 4 little dashes that I drew on here. So just cut them in. I don't even know what measurement it is. It's about as long as these dashes are on this stencil. That's about how long you want to cut them in. Not too far to the center, or this is going to tear pretty quickly, and not too shallow, or your strings will not go inside of there. So 4 notches cut top, bottom, left, and right, and then I'm going to add 4 more to make 8 total. So I'm going to find 2, and I'm going to put one in the middle of those 2 at the diagonal. So 3 more. I'm looking for the middle of these 2, and last one. So when you're done, you have top, bottom, left, and right, and then each of the diagonals. Then see the teacher for a poke in the center. So we'll take care of the awls and give you a poke right here, and then you can take the scissors and just kind of widen that hole out just a bit. So this is the tool that you need to make the jellyfish bracelet. Circle, 8 notches, hole in the center out of some food packaging. So next up is getting 7 strings. I know you cut 8 notches, but it only takes 7 strings to make this bracelet. The difficult part of this is these things do not always come out super smooth. So in an ideal world, we would have these little boards cut, and in some spare time, we would start to wrap all the string from these skeins of string onto these little papers. They come off much easier off the paper. So if you ever don't have anything to do and you want to wrap string while you listen to music, or I don't know, something to keep yourself busy with free time, or I don't know. I just know that these strings start to become a huge mess if we do not take care of them. So yeah, wrap string. Okay, so at some point I'd like to get most of our string looking like this. But for here, I'm going to try to take the string off of these skeins. So again, you need 7 strings, and the length, I don't have a ruler here. This is about a foot here. You need more than that. Maybe 18 inches if you want to get a ruler out and measure. Maybe 2 feet to be safe. And then we'll just cut that string. If you're taking off of this, then we'll just notch it back in here. But I'm gonna get the rest of my 7 strings cut to, again, about 18 inches to 2 feet, 24 inches. So I'm gonna add a little side note here. Sometimes your teacher may ask you to just bring the strings over and not to cut your own 18-inch long pieces of string. So sometimes with my kids, I say, don't get it out, just bring me the 7 colors that you would want, and then I will manage these supplies for you so these don't become a twisty, knotted mess. That drives me crazy. So just listen to your teacher on how they want to manage your supplies. Okay, so 7 colors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You can repeat if you want to do 3 of these and 4 of these to make 7, or 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these, and 1 of these. You can, any combination of colors just to get 7 strings. And then on one end of that like 18-inch, 2-foot long pile of string, you're going to need a knot. So just loop it around and pull the end through, and you're trying to get your knot pretty close to the end, maybe an inch or so away from the end of the string, like this. All right, so from here, you're almost ready to start making your bracelet. You're going to take the knot and poke it through the hole. So I'm going to keep the gray side up because I find this distracting. So I'm going to poke this through the hole, and you may need to encourage it through with your pencil. You don't want your hole to be too big, so if you don't want to like just keep making this bigger so it slides through, you want the hole to be kind of tight so it holds your bracelet in. And then just pull it through the back side so that just your little inch of tail right here is hanging through, and the rest of your 7 strings are up here off the top. From there, you're going to take each string, it doesn't matter in which order, and put it through an open notch. So again, 8 notches, 7 strings, there will be 1 left over. Okay, so I am ready to go, and this is why I call it a jellyfish, as it kind of looks like a jellyfish this way. So empty notch is up here at the top, and I have 7 strings. I kind of think of this as 12 o'clock on a clock up here. You're going to count 3 strings to the right. So from the 12, I'm going to count 1, 2, the 3rd string over. You're going to unhook it from that notch and move it to the empty notch. Then you're going to rotate back to 12 o'clock again. Here's the 12 o'clock at the top. 1, 2, 3, unhook it, rehook it. That's literally all that you do over and over. Rotate it, 1, 2, 3, unhook it, rehook it. Now, one thing you may notice is these strings start to get kind of tangly down here. So usually after I put it through the notch, I will pull it out from the bunch so I don't have some weird twisting action that gets it all tangly. So in the beginning, you don't see a whole lot of action. I'm just moving these strings, and there's not a whole lot. You're wondering how on earth is this actually gonna make a bracelet? But you can see these are starting to kind of twist across each other here. Okay, so here they're beginning to twist. About every 7 times you move the bracelet, 7 strings or so, you're going to begin to pull from the knot down here, and this is that braid that's happening. You can kind of barely see it at the bottom. So I'm gonna keep on going and then show you with a little bit more. All right, so there's a little bit more of that bracelet forming. Again, just from the empty notch, 3rd string to the right, unhook it, rehook it. Some kids will just like move it across here, but no, you need to unhook it and move it to that spot. And always that same string, not directly across, not a 90 degree, it's the one in the corner. So that's it. When you get all the way to the length that you're looking for out of this bracelet, when it is long enough to go around your wrist or a backpack pull or something, you will just unhook all of the strings, pull it through, and then you can come see us for tying a knot, or you just tie a knot at the end. We do have maybe some safety pins that you could use so you don't have to tie it on something permanently. But yeah, that is your jellyfish.